Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Hollywood Highlights. I am your host, Mike Woolfolk. It's been a minute since we've been together, but hey, this is a big week. We just had the big game, and during that big game, there was a trailer that dropped for an upcoming movie. We're going to talk about it. This week, at the end of the week, Valentine's Day, in fact, Captain America, A Brave New World will hit theaters. It will be the latest Marvel superhero movie, and we're going to talk about it. But first, we're going to discuss a film that also just recently had its trailer drop. It's another Marvel film, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. And in order to talk about all of these movies, you know I like to invite my colleague, good friend, and Marvel aficionado, the one, the only, Caleb Holloway. Hey, Caleb, what's going on?
Oh, I am the comic nerd in me, the little child comic book reader that I was, is so excited for these three films.
Yeah, I know you and I both have that in common, though you are, I will admit, I think much more advanced in sticking with it. Look, I'll just be honest. I mean, you are younger than I am. There's a huge age gap, and I kind of shifted away from the comic books long ago, but I still maintain that love for the TV shows and movies and things of that nature. I mean, heck, I'm in my 6th decade of walking this earth, knock on wood, that extends for a little while longer. And I still watch the 1966 Batman TV series as if, I did when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I'm right there with you. I'm the grown-up kid. This Fantastic Four movie that's coming up, we're going to talk about that one first. This will be, and you had to correct me. We were talking about this in the newsroom earlier, and I said, what is this, like the 3rd movie? And it turns out this is like the 4th or 5th Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, so in the 90s, they attempted a Fantastic Four movie that was never had its theatrical release that you can find YouTube clips of. And then we had the 2000s that we had Chris Evans getting to play Human Torch instead of Captain America's films with Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. And then we had the absolute debauchery of, fans like to call it Fan Four Stick, based off of the logo with Miles Teller, Jamie Bell, and Michael B. Jordan. So this is our 4th film getting to know Marvel's first family. Gotcha.
All right, so we're going to take a look at the trailer, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk more about this film. But I know that having watched it, this one has a totally different look, totally different feel, and it may be that this will be the one that is more true to the comic book versions of the Fantastic Four than any of the previous films have been. Would you agree?
Yeah, the art style of these sets is straight out of the comic book pages.
All right, here we go. This is, let me make sure I can find it here on my list, my playlist. This is a look at the first trailer for the Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming?
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. Okay, is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
All right, so there you see, we got to wait until July 25th to actually see the whole film in theaters. But definitely, this is straight out of the comic books in terms of its look, the production design, if you will, costumes, the vehicles, just that whole feel is what I remember as a kid reading Fantastic Four comics back in the day, and I'm sure that's what has sort of carried over into the present day Fantastic Four comics. They do still exist, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's been a minute since I read a
remaining
comic.
four have changed over the years on who's listed in the Fantastic Four, but the comics still exist. Yes.
Okay, so talk about what you know about this film and how I guess it came to be that we're doing another attempt, if you will, to bring the Fantastic Four to the big screen in a way that might actually get some longevity.
The MCU has been trying for a long time to right some of the wrongs of the past Universal and Fox Universe Marvel films. This is going to be the actual look that we've never got to see of Marvel's first family with a star-studded cast of Emmy winners. Pedro Pascal is one of the biggest actors on the planet right now. He's internationally known. Vanessa Kirby coming in. Eben Backrack just came off his Emmy win for Chef. Joseph Quinn is having a historic run in his career right now, from getting his 15 Seconds of Fame out of Stranger Things for a smaller character to now being an Oscar-winning Gladiator 2. So the cast of this is I think is going to be the strongest selling point to get fans that might not care as much about the MCU to get their butts and seats in the theater. I'm most excited to see John Malkovich. You saw him for a very small second in that trailer. That his casting has not been released yet. My assumption is that he's going to play one of the earliest villains of the Fantastic Four called Red Ghost. I don't want to spoil too much of what his character is because I want people to come into this movie with fresh eyes of the Fantastic Four. And we're going to get to see this 1960s alternate sci-fi realm that the comics always were. So I have to assume that this is going to be an alternate universe that Marvel loves to play now.
Interesting. I love the car. When the car came across the screen, I was just like, oh, that's hot.
Can't wait to see it go from car to sky.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent for me. The whole Batman thing. The Batmobile from 1966 remains for me the number one, superhero car around. And of course, it really didn't do much other than roll across the road, but it was just so cool looking, and that's what this Fantastic Four car looks like as well. There is another film coming out from Marvel soon called Thunderbolts, and this was one that I knew nothing about at all. I don't know anything about the Thunderbolts. I've never read any of their comic books, but when I saw this trailer, I looked at you and I go, so are they like Marvel's version of DC's Suicide Squad? Because there just seem to be a lot of parallelisms there.
Yeah, that's an apt description. I would say DC, as it does, always loves to play more dark, and the Thunderbolts goes much more into the mental aptitude of these characters. We're going to see some in-depth storytelling, I think, out of this film.
Interesting. All right, so I've got the trailer for the Thunderbolts. In fact, this is the latest trailer. It just dropped, I guess, on Super Bowl Sunday during the football game. And you were the one who hipped me to it because I missed it. I was kind of in and out of the game because I'm still in the Lions didn't make it funk. I did watch the game, for what it was worth, but I missed this trailer. I didn't realize it was a new one. So let's take a look, and we will. Anyway, I and the audience maybe are seeing it for the first time. Maybe I'm the only one that's seeing it for the first time. I know you've seen it, Caleb, because you're just on top of things like that. But here is the latest trailer for Thunderbolts.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
So none of us comply? So what, we all just punch and shoot? I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Where are you?
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape their past. Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
So you can do something about it now, or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
This has makings of team that can rise to glory. Bring light from the darkness. This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box. With a little giddy toy.
Alexei, have you slept?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I'd like not to die today, so maybe somebody else should be driving.
This has makings of good movie. I like David Harbour. He's pretty cool. The interesting thing for this is that folks should realize here is that these are characters that are not necessarily all new. We have seen them in other Marvel projects. Particularly Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. That's from Captain America and the Winter Soldier, I think, on TV at Disney Plus. And he's been in sort of a cameo role in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. He was in one of the other films when he was first introduced, as he was a contemporary of Steve Rogers.
Yeah, this is going to be a callback for films from every phase of the MCU. So returning characters besides Bucky Barnes, which is probably going to be the lead of this team.
Right.
Yelena, Red Guardian, and Taskmaster from the Black Widow film.
Correct.
Ghost will be coming back, which we have not seen since Ant-Man and the Wasp. And U.S. Agent John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell, who is the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, is going to be reprising his role as U.S. Agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier series.
Also, you probably, like the very first person you see in this new trailer is, was that Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Yes.
That plays Valentina, because she was in Wakanda Forever as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's kind of a witch. I mean, I just remember how she was in Wakanda Forever with Agent Ross, and it was kind of she's, I guess, she's a government person, mm-hmm. which you would think was on the good side, but she's very antagonistic to what kind of goes on in terms of doing this. But her character, going back to these parallels that I find between the Marvel Thunderbolts and DC's Suicide Squad, is that Valentina reminds me of Amanda Waller from the DC world.
Yep, there are significant parallels. The differences that I would see is that none of these characters are criminals. They are, but that's Suicide Squad is very strictly that these are villains used mm-hmm. for good. Right. Everyone on the Thunderbolts team walks the line of hero and villain, including the main protagonist of this movie, that I don't want to get too in depth into, because I want people to experience this character that, if done right, I think is going to have people on the edge of their seats this entire film.
Yeah, it looks like this will be a good one. And even the marketing materials, they refer to them as anti-heroes. But as opposed to the criminal element that Suicide Squad has, where Amanda Waller is trying to give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, but when they finish a mission, they go back to prison. And these folks, I would imagine, aren't imprisoned anywhere. This movie doesn't open up until May. I think it's May 25th. That it's May 2nd or something like that. I might have the information right here. Opens May 2nd.
This is the movie that I'm most excited for of the 3 Marvel films that are coming out this year.
And it's listed here, I'm seeing, as the final film in Phase 5 of the MCU.
Yep.
Why don't, just to refresh people's memory, what are the phases? They've done all these films. I mean, they've done what, 30 films in the MCU, give or take?
Phase 1 would be Iron Man leading up to the first Avengers film. Phase 2 ends at Iron Man 3, or starts with Iron Man 3, I believe, ends with Age of Ultron, second Avengers film. And then we have Phase 3 that entered into, we got to see the conclusion of the Infinity War Endgame saga. Phase 4 has been the introduction of many of these storylines that came out of the Disney Plus shows. And now Phase 5, we have entered into this different world of we're seeing all of these kind of introduction to team stories.
Do you get the sense, because you and I have had this conversation a lot. There are several of the Disney Plus shows that I have not seen, at least not yet. But do you get the sense that people can still go to these movies and enjoy them and really get into the stories without having seen those television shows? Certainly seeing the shows might, give them a leg up, if you will, but it's not absolutely necessary.
I think it would be dependent on the movie. I think this one in particular, people can come in with no knowledge and enjoy the film. Although there's characters have had large storylines that you're not seeing that backstory that you might need to appreciate them fully. Mm-hmm. This is going to be an action-packed film with mental illness at the forefront. So it's going to be an interesting play on how they write this.
Certainly, if somebody goes to see the film and that prompts them to then go back and sort of backtrack and watch those TV shows to get the backstory, I'm sure Disney and Marvel would love that as well. It's just, I keep saying I'm going to do it. I just have to find the time. It's a binge watching kind of thing for me. And then last but certainly not least on our discussion today is the movie that's opening up in just a few days, Friday, which is Valentine's Day, Captain America: Brave New World. The first trailers for this dropped, a few months ago, and I know we talked about them, or at least talked about the movie when it first dropped. And it's interesting because this will be the first Captain America movie post the Chris Evans playing Steve Rogers era. And of course, at the end of Endgame is when Steve Rogers sort of passed the shield, if you will, to Anthony Mackie's character, who was the Falcon, but now is I like to refer to him as the Flying Captain America because he's still got his Falcon wings, but he's also got that shield. A Brave New World is going to be, I guess, a brave new approach here because we're bringing some new character. It's an old character played by a new actor with an added alter ego here, and he's red.
Yeah, I am. Red Hulk is one of my favorite characters in all of comics. I think that the character of Thunderbolt Ross is one that has never been truly explored the right way on film before. And the excitement that I had when I was a teenager and seeing that William Hurt got to play this character, an actor that I've loved for a very long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get Red Hulk. There's no way we're going to not get Red Hulk. And then he passed. And I was like, oh, we're never going to get it. And now to see Harrison Ford, an actor that's internationally known, is taking that casting in light of his passing and going to bring this character to the screen, I'm very excited.
It was sad. I was doing some background reading on that, and I know William Hurt was actually excited about the fact that they were going to have, that he was going to get to play Red Hulk, and then his tragic illness that took him away from us far too soon. He's a great, wonderful actor. But yes, Harrison Ford has taken over the role. Let's take a look at this trailer once again, just to refresh everybody's memory, and we'll say a few more words about it on the backside before we wrap this up. Captain America: Brave New World, opening in theaters on Friday. Thursday night, if you want to go check out a preview.
You asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president. Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not. Wait for it. We're on the brink of war.
I can't trust anyone.
Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest?
I don't want a variable out there that I can't control.
Stop!
Captain America, caught without his wings.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap?
You don't even know what this is.
Since when were they red?
You want me? Come and get me!
Valentine's Day, Captain America: A Brave New World. I think what's interesting, in addition to Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, that there are some other really premium actors in this film. You saw Giancarlo Esposito there. I love his work as well, and he's done it on so many levels in this universe now, but also in the Star Wars universe and the Spike Lee universe, but from back in the day. So, we've been watching his work for a long time. Talk about some of the other folks who are, and other characters who are in it, because what I noticed was interesting. And, like the character Ruth Bat Saraf, who is listed here as an Israeli former Black Widow. It would lends itself now. So there was more than just the Black Widow. We had other Black Widows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an entire organization that they were trained spies that were infiltrating throughout the country and throughout the world. I said in the last trailer that there's some films that I think you can go into the movie and truly appreciate it, understanding. There's 2 things that I think are, I wouldn't say mandatory, but for you to truly appreciate this film, you need to watch and refresh yourself on before you go see this. I understand it comes out Friday, so you got to watch them quick. But there's plenty of characters that were in this trailer that you can see and feel the emotion in that trailer of their stories. Both Elijah Bradley, who is the prisoner at the beginning of the trailer, and Joaquin Torres, who becomes the new Falcon, are both introduced in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
Okay.
And to see their backstories and how we're getting to this moment, I think are very important for the plot line of this film. The other that I would rewatch, which goes back to 2008, is the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton before he was recasted by Mark Ruffalo, where you see William Hurt get to be Thunderbolt Ross for the first time, and the actual power and hate that's behind that character, as well as the leader, who is very briefly in this trailer with his back turned, I believe is going to play a huge monumental role in this film. And Tim Blake Nelson is returning to play that role.
And the Isaiah Bradley character you mentioned, Carl Lumbly, he's another a premium actor, and also did a lot of voice work on the DC side, because he was the voice of, if I'm not mistaken, the Martian Manhunter and some of the old Justice League, animated Justice League series. Does wonderful work, but has also appeared in some of the other television shows that were superhero related as well, the ones that were airing on the CW and whatnot. So a lot of good folks to watch, 3 good movies to look forward to if you are into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And let's just face it, there are very few people who aren't into the MCU. And Caleb will attest to this, because I speak, we have colleagues in the newsroom who say they haven't seen these. We just kind of look at them with a side eye, like, what's wrong with you? Caleb, it's always a pleasure to talk to you about these things, because you really are extremely knowledgeable about these films and these characters. So thanks for spending a few minutes with us. I know you need to get back to work, and so do I. So we're gonna bring this one to a close. Thank everybody for taking time to tune in, and let us know what you think of these films once you go see them. I can't wait to pop into a theater this weekend. It's been a while, but since football's gone, I'm gonna be able to get back to my other passion.
Yep. Big old tub of popcorn in hand. I'm ready.
There you go. Caleb Holloway, thanks for joining us. And thank you, everybody out there, for making some room for Hollywood Highlights. I'm Mike Woolfolk. We'll see you again soon.